like places that had to shift, right? Tonga, you know, these islands, southern islands in New Zealand and things that had to shift the plastic that can't go through the glass channels anymore. They have to use plastic regardless. They can't get the same shipping procedure or whatever it is, the contract that they had initially, which causes a problem in the long run, right? Now, what problem is that in the long run? Well, sustainability, well, we have to be able to reuse plastic. You know, we have to think about be able to mix plastics and melt metals and make brackets, right? Like, we have to think about things like this. Like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to breathe that shit in all day. Well, that's the problem, right? Well, the problem is that, you know, you can't establish or build these things in a way that applies to a modern standard to put into a facility of a sense of recycling. But we accommodate that in the Northern Territory at least. And if you end up with 500 fucking plastic bottles with no label on them, we'll still take them. You know what I mean? Because, like, we take all your rubbish anyway. You want to ship it anyway, you got to ship it from our fucking channels in Northern Territory, right? And so, like, you know, the tariffs, they don't really affect us entirely, right? But, like, you know, if there's no measure for that here, if I go to the exchange and I got a bunch of bottles and they don't fucking and they don't register, then that's it. I've now just got a bunch of plastic bottles that I've got to leave there in the fucking trolley, right? That doesn't help anybody. You know what I mean?
Microplastic bits in him, right? And then a hawk comes in.
Like, it helps.
The snake, and the hawk.
It helps if you can make it accessible within the community. That if you're gonna have that, at least, like, all the bins are fucking chained up, right? Like, we don't want people making a mess. Well, you get rid of the people that are making a fucking mess, and you allow the people to sift through those systems, because, like, otherwise then I've got people just going through my fucking bins. I don't mind that they're going through my bins, you know, realistically, but, like, in an entirety, like, if we're going to have that product, at least make it accessible in, like, the city, you know, where people can, like, pick up cigarette butts, pick up rubbish, you know what I mean? Like, do these things where they can associate so they can actually get paid for it instead of having to, like, fuck around for the process. Because at least we're going to have the homeless people doing something. At least they can do something to eat. If we can meet in the middle ground there, that's what Northern Territory does, and we're just happy to give you cash that day, right?
Hawk's got to eat at least 2 snakes as a snack. So then,
A
the
trauma.
hawk has 8. You understand? Like, it moves up the food chain. Microplastics affect...
Like, we understand. Like, you're bringing in that shit with the last of your fuel. You know, we'll give you some parking down the street. You can bring it in. You know, we'll give you $5. You go get something to eat. You might pocket a couple of things. You know what I mean? Like, we appreciate that where we come from. You know what I mean? Why do we appreciate that? Because, like, we respect that. Like, you're not putting it in the bin, because then we have to pay someone who's locked up in fucking jail to shift through it. Right? In honest.